Well, I'm going to continue on my videos. I know it's only Friday, but not a lot going on Saturday as far as babies are concerned. Monday is the Ohio Fillies back again. Now Saturday, I guess, is highest honors, Saturday evening. But for the most part, we've got to look at them. A little disappointed. I guess not with them, because I know they're better than that. You look at the Fillies yesterday in Philadelphia. I know Cherry's girl. Now, to be fair, I don't know if she can trot in 55, but I know she's better than that. Don't Ask Again, a little flat in the other filly, just starting off her career. Maybe she's a 58 trotter. I don't know. No idea right now. And by 58, she hasn't trotted in 58 yet, but I'm pretty sure she can get there. But to ask them to trot in 56, 57, they may not be good enough, a couple of them. So the good news is Don't Ask Again is definitely good enough for the Stallion Series. And Cherry's girl, we can easily back her off to the Stallion Series if we want to also. Looks like there's a couple of those fillies in the sire stake division that a little tough. It'll be tough to run down. So I don't know. I think I'll ponder that throughout the week and continue on. For the most part, I think we know where we sit in Ohio. We talked about that last week. I think that the fillies coming back in 8 or 9 days? Monday, 9 days. I think coming right back in 9 days for the Buckeye at Northfield. Their home turf will be beneficial to them. I know they said they trained everything today. They all trained really well. I told them I wanted to go Judy's Money tomorrow. Now, when Judy's Money raced, I told you it was a bit of a screw up. You have no idea how lucky we were. We weren't having a great night. Everybody was kind of okay. But for Judy's Money to go out and win the way she did, with everything going on, she lost a shoe, she lost a toe weight, and she was striking that left hind shin pretty good. And she put 4, maybe even 5 spots on that shin bone that was bruised, right, a little swollen up. And I told them I want to go with her tomorrow, so I'm going to be in tomorrow morning at the barn, go with Judy's Money a little bit, keep an eye on everybody else, have Dr. Latessa go over them. And I told them, I said, hey, guys, I want to put it to you like this. I know that everybody's working hard and doing their job great, but I need 105% focus for the next week or two so we can get everybody, not just the babies, but everybody back on track and moving forward. I was happy with the way that Greatest Ending qualified. Yes, he had to qualify because he was off 45 days, or 30 days, I guess. Nassau's got to qualify on Tuesday. We got to get these horses back going forward. For him, just going forward to start with. So that's where we're at with a lot of the horses. I wanted to run through the babies with you, let you know where they're at. I know last week I did a video telling you which ones are turned out, which ones weren't, which ones were coming back, where they're at, what their timeline was. But I'm going to do that pretty much again for you right now. AC/DC is out for another, I don't know. He'll be out for another 4 weeks, I would say 5 weeks. Aunt Sarah, I know that Dr. Latessa was going to go over her. Now, she trained well today, but I do want to talk to him a little bit more as we approach Monday. What I found in her mile at Scioto was she fell apart in the latter stages of the race. So I didn't see any acute lameness, anything where I'd say, well, we really got to work on that. I know her knees bother her, so probably her feet bother her a little bit. She's loading weight. That means her back is a little sore. Stifles are going to be a little pinchy. Have we addressed that? And how does she seem to you now that she trained today? If he looks at her tomorrow, how does she seem to you today? So these are things that I want to address with Dr. Latessa heading into Monday. Also, Bianco Spiaggio is done for the season. He was training down. He's a big, strong colt. And the one sesamoid / suspensory branch on the branch, there's no tears or anything, but you could see where there was some, I forget the word, the veterinarian in Ontario is, I forget the word Dr. Rosenjack used, but that area is vulnerable. So we have to let it fill in, cool down, and that's exactly what we're doing before. It's the same old thing where there's smoke, there's fire, right? So nip that in the bud. I wish we had done a better job for Mr. Swagger, but that's just the way it is with horse racing. I'm sure the colt will come back very good at 3. Blue Rare, schooled good the other day. Dominic said there was some mucus there afterwards. They've dried it up and continue to dry it up. She'll race. When's she in to go? Do you know? I think she's in tomorrow at Georgian, if I'm not mistaken. She's in somewhere, and then she'll race. Next Saturday at Kawartha Downs is a grassroots event for her. Capistrano Nights is back in now. Now I want to jog her tomorrow. I want to reassess her myself and see how she feels. What I don't want to see is a little wrinkle in that left hind. If there is, she's going to be back to the field for a month, which will pretty well run down her season. She's another filly. We'll put her in that bracket of bringing her back in the wintertime. But for right now, I just want to see how she looks. I have all confidence that she will, every confidence that she will be sound tomorrow, be perfect. So we'll see how that plays out. All the horses so far we've done that with have looked great. I'll talk about a few in just a minute. Degas is going in the bottom division in Lexington. There's nothing wrong with that. She's a nice filly. We're going to have a lot of fun with her, and that's a good spot for her to be in. Diosa della Danza didn't take long to get to the bottom of what had happened. A little bit of blood found and some mucus, but I think when you're looking at that ratio, there was a little more blood than you'd like to see. So maybe a 2.5 out of 5 with some mucus, more than enough to put her on Lasix, and probably more than enough to explain what had happened with her, more particularly in her last start, but quite frankly, maybe the start before, with respect to the next generation. Don't Ask, again, little flat ear, stay scope with some mucus. That's understandable, and I think Dexter is a great fit for any horse, but when it comes to a little cranky filly, I think maybe she thought she could take advantage of him, and maybe she did yesterday. So I'll be happy to spin her. I don't know when the next grassroots goes. I'll have to look into that. Dune is racing this week coming up. I know that there's a Northfield start supposedly coming up very, very soon for her also. So for those of you, very important, for those of you out there, I know most of you, if not all of you, who have got licensed for Dune. You do have to get licensed in the state of Michigan, and if you are not, and this goes for everybody this summer, I mean, almost everybody's perfect. There's been some mistakes made, but if you are not licensed for any prospective jurisdiction you're in, then you really have to look into that, right? Because I'm busy, everybody's busy, and the last thing I want is to have to call Tom, Dick, or Harry, or Sally and say, hey, by the way, you're not licensed in the state of X, and really have to be, right? All of our clients know where our horses are headed. You know that Dune is in Michigan, and for her to race in those finals, she is going to be racing at Northfield or one of those tracks, and you do have to be fully licensed in Michigan to race there. So if you're an owner of Dune, a partner of mine, and you are not licensed right now, you have to get licensed in Michigan immediately. So I'll have Linda reach out to everybody to reiterate that point. But if you're not licensed, and if you for some reason don't want to get licensed, then you cannot be an owner any longer in Dune. So, and that goes for everybody, right? I understand there's a lot of people out there that don't like the part of being licensed, and we'll continue to work on that past today into 2025, the rest of 2025, 2026 and beyond, to work with the industry to try and get it easier for people to get licensed. But right now, we all know the score. We all know what it takes to get licensed in any jurisdiction, and I fully expect that everybody is working towards that. Emerald Tom was pretty hard not to be happily surprised with Emerald Tom his last start. The horse was tremendous. Really happy with his race and looking forward to his next one. I'm not positive where that is. Go Strong Hanover will race next week, and again, we'll keep him in the Buckeye for now. There's a couple of these 2-year-olds that maybe are kind of Stallion Series horses, but maybe are not the types that we want to keep over for 2026. There are 2 or 3 of those horses amongst our herd, so to speak, and as we get into that second leg, when there's 2 more, there's a chance that you might see those horses surface on gate or preferred. Now, I'm not dropping Go Strong Hanover's name or anybody else's just yet, but I am watching a number of horses. Head to Know, I'm going to turn him out in the field. I like this horse, a big colt. His stifles are really, really kind of flabby and immature, and with him, it's, do we do vet work on him or do we just let him grow up? And when I look at the scene of the Stallion Series or the Buckeye Series in Ohio, and certainly the Sire Stakes division in Ohio, I think it makes the most sense for us to allow him to become the best horse he can become, and that would be simply shutting him down and giving him some time off. I know that's not what you want to hear, but what you don't want to see is him go out and look terrible, right? You could see that horse could have run 15 times. He could have run 15 times in his race and never looked to ring the bell at all, right? Always dug in and pushed through, and did whatever he could the other night. So the attitude, the work ethic is definitely there. He's just a big, gigantic colt. Let's just give him some time to fill out and grow up. Hanger 1, I'm debating qualifying him Tuesday or schooling him again. The gate's not the problem, just being a little warm is. So I'm obviously very conservative when it comes to what we're doing with Hanger 1, but he is ready to qualify. So there's a decent chance you may see him, in fact, qualify Tuesday at the Meadows. No guarantees just yet, but I am leaning towards that. I'm going to bring NASA over, I think, to qualify him. We do have solidarity to qualify before he can race in Kentucky. So we do have some horses that are needing qualifiers and ready to qualify, and I think that's it. It's that time. I think he's pretty much there, I think. He's a Fearless Peter. That 5th place the other night, like I told Ryan, he's probably not best first over, but he had to move him. There's nothing you do. Got away 4th. The horse in the 3-hole didn't want to move. I think then one run, if I'm not mistaken. But when he's too wide with nothing in front of him but a horse to look at, I think he spends the latter part of the mile just wondering if he can get out of work, right? Still very green, and what he needs is a couple of really hard, stiff miles into him, and I think one is definitely coming this week. Thursday in Scioto is his next Buckeye, so I suspect that's when you're going to see him have to do a little bit more work. And it's not that he can't. I saw him in his qualifier, 2-2, very easy last half in a minute. There's no reason why this colt can't trot around 58, 59 right now, and that's what I expect him to do next Thursday. Highest Honors has been great. His training mile was fantastic last week, and now he is racing in a Buckeye event, I believe, Saturday night. He'll do just fine. Jason called me and said, I'm really sorry, I didn't think you were back Saturday night. He said, you know what, Jason, both horses are picked to win. I don't need to be there for either of them. Aaron Merriman will do a fine job. Won a lot more races than I have. He'll do a fine job with those horses. And you know what? It's been a long week. It's been a long summer. And maybe Saturday I could just go easy and spend some time with Amy and the kids. So you know what? No need to apologize. Aaron's a perfect fit for those horses on Saturday evening. In New York, I had messaged Eric and said I might send in New York down to Kentucky, race him once or twice. I do believe he's going to be turned out. He's sound. He's looking good, feeling good. But is he going to trot in 56, 57? No, I don't think so. But we'll see. I think we can race him. It's not going to hurt to race him a couple of times. The horse is more than prepared to race and do well. He's been training good. So we'll get him in down there and see how he qualifies. See how he races in Kentucky. If he looks outworked, outmatched, or just out of gear, then we'll just turn him out and bring him back as a 3-year-old. The breeding is there, the attitude is there, and I think once he grows up, it's going to be a real fun horse to train down and race. Jailbird Jog, I can't speak enough of her, and the other day was unfortunate. I thought I put her in a great spot, and it was just timing, right? We talked about timing in the game, and when it came to Jailbird Jog, when the flow started to develop, I moved her out in the other flow. But here's the thing, when you start to move her, it's game on. Like, she wants to fight. And it's just maturity. She has to understand, right? I moved her to the front last week. She did her work well. I kept her quiet and covered up her first start, did her work well. The other day, as the flow started to develop, it slowed quickly because Dexter was trying to get Todd McCarthy first over. He wouldn't come first over, so he just kept his slow grind forward with the filly. They ended up winning the race. But that first slowing, right, allowed her to catch up to Scotty. And when I did, as I said a number of times, I had 3 choices. Grab a hold of her, which I knew in training down, when you grabbed her at that point in a training mile, that's where you could get in trouble. Let her coast up onto Scotty's helmet and relax, which is what I opted to do, or wheel her 3 deep, which would have been insanity. So I opted for what I thought was the right move to make. Once she got a little close to Scotty, she boxed her gate up and rolled off stride. It wasn't her fault. She tried not to. She got out of gear for a couple of strides before she finally ran, but I thought that was the right move to make, all things considered. And trust me when I tell you, if the flow had developed a little bit better and had marched forward the way I thought it was about to, she is absolutely a winner in that division. She looked very, very good. And it's frustrating, but that's that. We'll see how she does. In Lexington. But My only question mark for Lexington with that filly, and the only one at all, is can she wear flip-flops over Lexington? We've had horses race over there with them. Not what you'd call preferred footwear, but if she can wear them, we'll leave them as is. If she can't, then we'll look to tinker a little bit. The problem with tinkering is if you take the flip-flops off and she gets a little pacey at the Red Mile, what do you do then? Now you're coming down on 2 brakes, and you have to worry about changing her shoes back or a variation of some sort of padding. I believe she'll be fine with the flip-flops on for now. If we get to a point where it just doesn't look like we're getting what we need out of her with those on, then we can move to maybe a 9/16 or something. I don't really have a problem with that. I think she's been good enough. I don't really want to change things up with respect to her footwear just yet, and I don't think we have to. All the money, everything we're looking to accomplish with her is weeks, months down the road. So I think that's the most important thing for myself and for our ownership group to understand, is that, and Eric and everybody, what we're trying to do with Jailbird Jog is a long game situation. It's not a short game. That's why I was upset that she made a break. I'm not heartbroken, because it wasn't an unforced error. It wasn't something that she just blew up. There was more than enough reason for it to happen, and we can move on from that. She does show a lot of maturity outside of that. She's grown so much from the filly she was this spring that it's impressive, not just to sit behind her, but to watch her. And I'm interested in watching her throughout Lexington into the fall, wherever that takes us with Jailbird Jog. Jolene Hall, one of her more underappreciated horses. I think you're going to see why in the coming weeks. She's getting better and better and better. She likes the speed, and I think she's handling it smoother now. And I think you're going to see her really start to spring forward as the stake season kind of dredges on. I think you're going to see her turn into a real nice filly. Judy's Money, one of the biggest surprises of the summer has been Judy's Money. She was incredible in Scioto, and coming into a race at Northfield, her home track, I'm sure she'll be just fine. Leland Hanover, 8-5 on Saturday. I really didn't even want to race them Saturday, but Tim called and said, well, you know, those good horses are going to be in the Arden. And somebody messaged me, why isn't he in the Arden? Because I have zero interest in racing him in the Arden. And I know that maybe doesn't sit well with some people. Like, well, he's paid into it, and he's fast enough, he should be in it. Well, you're wrong. That's not where he's going to go. He's going to race where I think he's going to be mature and be the best horse he can be, again, down the road. And Saturday, I was happy to skip with him, but as it turned out, Tim was right. The horse ends up 8-5 morning line. I'm not going to drive him very hard again. I'd like to follow him, sprint by horses on the end of it. That's what I would like to see from Leland Hanover this week. Last week he was outmatched. They went 52 off a half and 58. Horse can only do so much. I just want to see him continue to mature. Lifting Legend looks like he'll be fine in the Prospect Series. Looked very mature in his race last week. Love Sensation, Eric is just now, he said, are you sure you don't want to qualify this filly? I said, Eric, let me put it to you this way. She was hitting herself. She's a big growthy filly, and she's, you know, our 4th best trotting filly right now in Lexington. Why don't we let her grow up and see if she can become our best trotting filly at some point, right? That would be incredible if she did. But I liked what I saw from her. I know she made that break in Oak Grove. I've said this time and time again. I liked what I saw from her attitude-wise. Why don't we just do her a favor and kick her out? Let her grow up and be a nice filly. You know, there's a ton of killers waiting for her in Lexington. I just don't think we have to be one of them. So she's going to go to the field. Megan's Lucky Day was surprisingly good inside out. Not that I thought she'd be bad, but I was wondering how mature is she going to be from the outside post in with those horses. And it was an audible after the line of scrimmage, so to speak, when I looked left and there wasn't a whole lot of holes developing in the middle, and I didn't want to continue to grab into her. I just let her sail forward. She cleared to the front. She felt great on the front. I really wish they had left me there, quite frankly, or at least let me follow Judy's Money. I think we would have been very close and at a much better mile, but she did race good to be 5th, and the only reason she wasn't 3rd is because I had trouble getting her down in the passing lane, finishing up her mile, but she was very good. Millie Girl, again, we opted not to go to the Poconos with those horses. The SAA test come back a little high on Sweet Lake, and then of course we were doing work on My Name is Swaney. She was good, but after her first race, we noticed we looked a little closer, and there was an OCD had formed in her hind ankle, and it's not a big deal, it's certainly something that we can manage, and then if we have to at the end of the season, we can take it out. You might think of that and say, well, but it's got to be bugging her. I mean, there was OCDs forever in horse racing before everybody just started taking them out. So with her, it looks like something had rattled a little bit loose in the race. She was fine the other day. I think just managing her week to week, race to race, day to day will be important. And if it becomes a challenging issue or a problem, we'll just shut her down and take it out. But for right now, I think she'll be fine. When we had treated her, the medication we treated her with was close to the race anyway. And I said, let's not tempt fate. Millie Girl isn't quite ready to tangle with the Stallion Series crowd. I want her in the overnights for now anyway, unless they're going to come back to us. Sweet Lake can't go. She's not able to go. And My Name is Swaney. I think it's not going to hurt her to miss also. It's a very talented filly also. Great attitude. Let's just skip this one, and we'll go to Philadelphia with them. Where are we at next? Neuromancer has been training good. Yeah, I didn't know if he was in the qualifier. No, I would have saw him. He schooled? How did he say he schooled? I don't know. Just ask him how he did. I meant to ask him and I forgot to. Races, no prospects. August 8th. Yeah, he'll race. Somebody just asked me when Lifting Legend's going to race. There's no prospect till August 8th. He'll definitely race again. There's no need not to race him. I'll circle back to Neuromancer in a second. Amy's just asking Dom how he schooled, but he did school this week. Perfection Hanover was good, pace 55 last week. He's racing tonight. Dave Pallone, I think, is going to drive him, so we'll see how he races. Perfect Thought races tonight. All eyes will be on New Jersey, that's for sure. I know Scotty was still very enthusiastic about racing.
Today's Friday. He would have went today.
Well, he still would have been over, and I was talking to him a little while ago just to see if he responds. Perfect Thought, very interested to see how she does tonight. Still another division, still another leg, and only one division of these fillies. So regardless of how she does tonight, if she races next week, which she will, she'll likely make it into the final. So as I said to Scotty, I know, listen, I want to see her go out and crush them. Just don't let me put too much stress on you, is virtually what I was alluding to. Pretty Eyes and Lies, she's better than that the other day. Fizzled out on the end of it, trotted in 59 or 2 minutes or something. She's a better trotter, but she has a lot of work to do. She's a nice little filly to drive now. I think we'll have her in at the Meadows next week and focus on that with her. As far as going to Philadelphia, she was in Philadelphia. As far as going to the Poconos, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see about that. Rico Tubbs is definitely going to the next one. Man, he looked good, eh? I told you guys he'd be good. And if I'm going to be completely honest, I didn't expect him to have the fastest mile of any of the Stallion Series divisions. I didn't expect him to win so emphatically. The horse looked good, and to be quite frank, over the 10-day span that we had of, as I said, quite frankly, mediocrity, I think he was a shining point in that. So great job by him, and we'll see him in his next start. Riding the rodeo is in tonight or Sunday at Georgian Downs. You may notice I'm at Georgian Downs on Tuesday. I actually wanted to go to Ollie's baseball game. I'll see what we get in at the Meadows, and I'll see what we get in at Northfield, and I may just stay and watch his game on. He plays Wednesday again, right? And Thursday. Where does he play Wednesday?
Stratford.
Ooh, Stratford. I don't know about that. We'll see. I guess I could go to Stratford and then just go through Detroit back to Ohio. Stratford's got to be, what, an hour from the border, am I guessing?
Stratford's towards London, isn't it?
Yeah, but then it's like the other way of the...
Yeah.
That's where Justin Bieber's from.
It's north.
Yes, that's what I was trying to get, a little bit north. Maybe it's not that closer, I don't know, we'll see. Rose Run Bobby is in on Monday. They said she trained well today, which is good. Yeah, well, I did tell them to TQ her. I just don't want to get... She's doing so much better now. I just don't want to... I don't want her to come off the rails. That break at Scioto was... I should have just been a little more careful with her. She just felt good when she made a break, and I think she'll be fine on Monday. Royal Duchess come back in. They said she was sound as a dollar.
When did they draw?
They already drew. I have 7 horses in Monday. That's why I told you I can't go
How
down.
did she draw?
I think the middle of the car, maybe. I'm not sure. It should be fine. I really didn't pay much attention to it, to be honest. Royal Duchess, they come back in. They said she was sound as a dollar, so maybe that 2 weeks was all she needed. It just seemed like her knees always bothered her, and she was working towards getting better, and then, right after the qualifier, geez, we can't inject this filly just to get her to the track. I want to get her there. What if we just give her a few weeks off? And that's what we did. And she is much, much better. Really happy with what I've seen. I didn't see her. Jason sent me the message, who's gone with her a lot all winter. And he said, I know, he said, so-and-so trained good, this one trained good. He said, and Royal Duchess was 100% sound. Perfect. That's perfect to hear. That's great news. So hopefully she stays that way. Royal Flush Dio has gone out to the field, is out in the field, and will stay out in the field for a while. Simply Chaotic was the reason I was going to Ontario. I really would like to see Ollie play baseball, but love of God, we got to get this guy squared away. That's the breaks, and it's just unacceptable. We made some shoeing adjustments with Simply Chaotic. I have no idea how he trained, but I am going to drive him on Tuesday. I think I'm going to drive him and the little fellow there. What's his name? The little guy. Who?
DK?
DK, yeah. I guess Austin must not be going to George, and there's no need for me to drive DK, but he said, I need you to drive that one too. So I'm in race 2 and 3, which was nice of the race office. I don't know if Dominic asked them, but I can make it back to Ohio if I'm going back to Ohio, but I would rather, I don't know if I want to see Ollie in Stratford though. Oof. It's a long way out of the middle of nowhere. And then it's a tournament this weekend coming up, you said? I gotta look and see. We'll look on the calendar.
No. So they go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, doubleheader Sunday in Niagara Falls.
Ooh.
And then the following weekend is Newmarket.
The following weekend. So I want to go to the following weekend tournament for sure. The doubleheader in Niagara Falls is interesting. So that first one must be in the afternoon. Well, they can't play them at night. Couldn't be 6 and 8:30. It's probably 2 o'clock and 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
So I can make the 2 o'clock game. I can just ask them to put me in late at Northfield Park. It'd be 3 hours from Niagara Falls to Northfield.
What's it on Sunday that you have to go?
I have no idea. It's just stake season. In this Sunday?
Yeah.
I don't know. 11? That's even better.
11 and 2.
11 and 2. I mean, to see them both. That's great. Anyway, Solidarity will qualify him Tuesday. I was hoping his clean line, we could just school him and take him to Kentucky, but they draw Wednesday.
Like Collingwood.
Oh, that's cool. But he needs a clean line, so I am going to qualify him. I'm not going to go all hard with him because it'll be Tuesday back Sunday, but he made that bet. He's going to have to lay in it, so I'm going to go a mile in 2 minutes with him, and then he'll go down to Kentucky. I don't expect him to go out pace 53 his first start in Kentucky, but I'd like to see him stretch out there. You know, somebody said, well, can we get him down there to qualify him? We could, but I'm not going to just put him into qualifying Monday and have somebody go around. There's 4 legs, and if he's good, he'll be just fine in Kentucky. I think he's one of these horses too, and I know Amy wanted to castrate him because he wasn't completely focused and perfect, but with his breeding the way it was, I left him as is. But it could easily turn into a very similar blueprint to Time Is On My Side, right? Race him 3-4 times, castrate him, turn him out, bring him back, and we already have the blueprint sitting in front of us, and that could easily be the one for Solidarity also. But I don't want to get over my skis here. Let the horse do his work first. If he was scared the other day, fine, and he made a break, that's fine. That happens. You know, we know he's a little fractious at times. That's fine. But when it comes to Solidarity as a whole, I do think there's progression there. I mean, I did train him a very fast mile by himself, and there wasn't any issues that I could see. So that to where we need him to be is that gap is closing, and I'd love to see it close up. But that'll be up to the horse, right? You know that. Steady Volo's on his way over to Ohio right now. 4 horses are on their way to Ohio right now, and he's one of them. I want to train him up. There's another horse I'm probably going to qualify Tuesday at the Meadows also. See if we can't get him squared away. I got to go with him in the morning because I'm sure I'm going to want to make shoeing changes on this horse. So I am going to snap him along tomorrow morning and then make a decision of what we're doing shoeing-wise. You'll likely see him as a 4th horse qualifying in Pittsburgh, Washington, Pennsylvania, the Meadows on Tuesday morning. Steph's Hope. They said she trained good, looked good. I think this filly's going to get better every week. Sterling Hanover starts jogging in another week. when you're dealing with throat issues like that, after a procedure, it's full stop until you get a green light. Anything before that green light from the vet, you're just looking for trouble. So when Dr. Grossenbacher says, yeah, he's ready to start jogging, that's when he'll jog, and really not before. Supermind, the break last week, I think there's a few components that go into that. We're addressing all of them right now. He was interfering a little bit. He hit the bike a little bit. His feet might be bothering him a little bit also. So I was waiting for Dr. Latessa to look at that. He will be in the next Sire Stakes at Northfield Park. It's likely next week at some point, I guess. And I fully expect that this colt does well. What's wrong? Oh, that wasn't her. That was you. You didn't sigh, right? It was her? Yeah, okay. Sweet Lake, she'll be right back in the next Stallion series, and it'll go in Philadelphia, I guess. We'll train her up really good. She did run down a little bit right hind, so we're going to add... what's going on here? More traffic. This I-90 is brutal, eh? This corridor.
I've never driven it.
What's that? You drive it all the time. This is the same road that you go to Buffalo in, that you go past Buffalo to our house.
We haven't gone past yet.
Oh, I know. It's close past.
Been a cop at every single.
Well, you get a nice long, nice weekend. You're gonna have cops here. New York's brutal. Not brutal, but you know what I'm saying. So Sweet Lake will be in next week, and mine are shoeing change with her. Tomboy Strong is in, I think, Sunday or Monday night, the Sire Stake at Northfield. I didn't see who she was in with, but I wouldn't mind her missing Fern Beachy's filly or the freaking Nancy's. That would be cool. Uncle Danny also chock full of sickness his last start. I guess that's not surprising. The good news is there's no blood in there, which is good. So we will... You okay there? So we will race him back his next start. If it's going to be a Northfield Sire Stake, I could say, yeah, we probably should do that. But and that's where it will be. And after that, we will make a decision. If he pivots to the Buckeye, he'll have 3 Buckeyes left, I believe, and has some Sire Stake points also. So I guess we'll see. We'll see after that. Woodmere Bullet, I talked about him, just a little green the other day. I think that's all I thought it was anyway when I watched the video. And Zena Kemp had a splint crowd on her. Her next start will be in the 30,000 class at Kentucky. That middle of the road crew in Kentucky for her. That's a good spot. So the way the board looks right now, at least for our trotting fillies, Jailbird Jog will be in the 80, might be 40 actually, the other one 30 or 40, I'm not sure. Zena Kemp's in the next one, and then the third one will be our girl Degas. So those are your 2-year-olds. You're all up to date on them now. I'm going to come back and do your 3-year-olds. Going to do your race horses. We have some horses racing this weekend, but I guess we should wait. I guess there are some horses racing today. I'm going to talk with the 3-year-olds today. We'll come back with the race horses maybe tomorrow. All right? Take care.